Cosita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra Loki. This is chapter 11, part 1. Then, giving her a sardonic smile, he added, "Then it is neither the first nor the last time I suggested to my clients that they desist from engaging in foolish action. People would always do as they will, for they cannot help it. Quit stalling and tell me what you know," insisted Alida. "Tomorrow the night is falling, and I'm not quite in the mood of hanging out in the dark, dreary forest where I can get mugged," said Guy, getting up and leaving. While waiting for her next session with Guy, Alida studied the map, and she asked Loki, "Do you know where the nearest inn from here is located?" "A couple of miles," answered Loki. "I see," said Alida. She then added, "How about camps, forts, or settlements where travelers usually stay?" "The nearest one is 2 kilometers," said Loki. Alida studied the map, and she turned it upside down a couple of times. Loki had marked their current location with an X, and the path they had taken was also laid down, and Alida was curious to see where she could discover where Guy was staying at. And whenever she tried to tell him, Guy always had a knack for eluding her. And when the time came, she got up and left to meet Guy near the river, and Loki watched her depart and did not ask what she was up to. And Ingrid studied his face and wondered somewhat amused if he knew what Alida was up to. And Loki already knew, and it was neither the first nor the last time some crazy maiden had employed Guy to dig up information on him. And selling information on Loki and his sibling was one of the many pathetic ways Guy had in order to put food on his table. And for the moment the siblings were tolerating Guy, saying he was just a well-informed, ordinary human. Guy offered Alida a seat near the rocks, and for he thought he brought out a comfortable folding chair made of ebony and ivory, with a cushioned seat made of cashmere, and Alida frowned at the side of the chair, with a slight hint of envy, and a bit of a superstitious fellow. Guy instinctively loved the evil eye pendant hidden within his black traveling coat. Guy gave a cool smile at Alida, and then he asked, "Do you wish to know more about Loki?" "Yes, everything," said Alida. "Everything?" "I haven't everything to work with, and some of the information is based on superstitious and idle rumors. And I will tell you as much as the information you afforded me is worth," said Guy. "Meaning?" inquired Alida. "That you will be getting the abridged version, and I have places to be, I'm afraid," said Guy. "Go on then," said Alida with a faint hint of irritation in her voice. "The man you know as Loki is believed to have been born among giants. It is a general belief, and all the giants attest to this as indisputable truth. However, based on his shape-shifting abilities and his claims as kinship with my Duke, I have been led to believe that he is not a giant, but something else," said Guy, stopping. "Something else like what?" asked Alida. "You tell me," said Guy, shrugging his shoulder. "I think here for Ingrid that Loki is a created person like ourselves," said Alida. Guy smiled a bit at this information. He then started saying, "With the giants he had a typical childhood, raising sheep, farming, and other idyllic activities. He was drafted into the army when he became big enough, and which in his case was 4 years after living with the giants. His actual age is estimated to be 20, so he was 6 when he joined the army." "How terrible," said Alida, shocked. "Moving along," continued Guy, somewhat annoyed at Alida's constant interruptions. "As a soldier, he excelled in swordsmanship, and one of his most famous gimmicks was his two-handed sword and dagger maneuver. And when he struck you with his first set of arms with a sword, he would sprout an extra pair of hands with daggers to jab at your blind spots. As of late, he shows a preference for his magic staff. I know about his war efforts, but I'm more interested on who he is when he's not fighting or pranking someone in one of his disguises," insisted Alida. Guy narrowed his eyes as he bit the inside of his mouth with impatience, and after a few moments of awkward silence, he started saying while getting up, "Since you know so much about him already, then I suppose you enjoy wasting people's time. And good day to you, madam." No, I'm sorry. Just tell me what I need to know to make him fall in love with me," said Alida. Guy grinned, and then he said, "You're wasting your time and mine, madam. Good day." Alida knew that she's after Sterling Guy. Nor did she call after him, and when she returned to Guy, she found Loki and Ingrid playing with cards. Both gave her a strange look, and she felt some implied mockery in their gaze, and little did she realize that she had superficial burns over her skin, and the sap from one of the nearby trees had made a number on her complexion, and when she did notice, she started twisting and turning in pain. And Loki and his sister ran towards the river and brought back buckets of water, and when the sap been washed away, it left a stain that reminded Loki of cigarette burns. Geez, what a mess, exclaimed Loki, cleaning this up. This is why I hate the forest, commented Ingrid. I have lived here for years, and this is the first time it has ever happened to me, said Alida. It is always something when you, commented Loki. Aren't you long overdue for your molting? Not when I'm injured, said Alida. Ah, so you can control when you mold, said Ingrid. So why mold if it's just for show? It is just us here, and there's no need to make a scene. Frankly, I find it to be a big growth. Let her do what she wants. No one here complains about your little rounds in the middle of the woods at night, said Loki. It is not as if I sleepwalk on purpose, pouted Ingrid. I do from time to time, and it combines both my favorite things, sleeping and going for a walk, said Loki, giggling. I'm not in the mood for your nonsense at the moment, said Ingrid. Whatever, dude, said Loki, frowning, and after cleaning the surface when Loki had a little street down, and together with Ingrid they poured water on her for 20 minutes till all of the traces of the caustic resin had been removed. With a cold wet cloth, he made a cold compress to treat Alida's skin pain, and once he was done, he bandaged her up and got her a spare change of clothing from within his hair. Even though it was late spring, the weather still felt rather cold, and this was in part due to the proximity of the mountains, and the cold weather originated from the lands of Albion. And the new clothing consisted of a dress with a travel cape, made of calico fabric with flower patterns painted against a black background. A bit surprised, Alida said, "This dress, it is a perfect fit. How did you make it so quickly?" Time, bro?
8 minutes.
It wasn't done quickly. I just figured you needed a change of clothing eventually, so I made you a couple of wardrobe changes, explained Loki. Why? Asked Alida. Loki sighed and rolled his eyes. Frowning, he said, I had some cotton and silk laying about and nothing better to do, so I decided to busy my hands. That's all, commented Alida. Why, asked Ingrid. Don't you know, sewing is just a thing that I only see women doing, commented Alida. I know plenty of guys who sew and parading cute little dresses made by their own hands, said Ingrid. Good for them, said Alida. And after having a short dinner, Loki fed the fire and went to wander the woods, leaving Ingrid and Alida sleeping. Not one to trust Loki, the troll guys were standing watch over the princesses from an unseen location. They saluted Loki as he passed by before returning to their night duties, and with their eyes they followed after the troll princess and her sister who were struggling to catch up with Loki. And they found him overlooking a small settlement near a stream, and there was only 4 houses being inhabited, with about 30 humans living within, and one of the locals visiting the nearby stream. And Loki had followed the person with his eyes, and he was about to make his approach when he heard an inconspicuous rustling behind him. And not turning around, Loki said, I know it's you, come out and stop hiding. Alina and Ingrid froze on the spot, and eventually Ingrid came out and said, all right, you found us. I was not referring to you girls, seeing as you are terrible at the game of hide and seek, commented Loki coolly. Oh, said Ingrid trembling. And Alida was silent, looking about a bit paranoid. Suddenly Loki said, can I help you? Alida wants to know if she can help you, explained Ingrid. You are welcome to try, said Loki. He then added, you see that fellow over there? Yeah, said Alida. He is fishing for gold, and he isn't going to find any in that location, and I want to point him in the right direction, said Loki. Which direction might that be, asked Alida. He needs to look by those protruding boulders over there, said Loki. And you know that how? Asked Alida. I read about it somewhere. Now go for it if you will, insisted Loki. Alida sighed and then she slid away, already regretting her decision, and she saw the fellow miner hunched over the river, soaring to the rocks and biting every tiny golden morsel he ran into. And for the last 2 months they had found nothing. And after the first initial handful had drawn his crew to this location in the first place, and the miner heard the tall grass rustle, but he did not see Alida lurking in the shadows. With only the clear milky sky illuminating the ground, Alida was perfectly camouflaged with her surroundings. And Alida touched the water with the tip of her tail, and to her it felt colder than snow. Not desiring to take a dip, she said, ahem. And the miner looked up frightened, and Alida drew closer, and the miner was able to see her radiant wild silver hair and orange eyes which seemed to glow red in the darkness. And the container holding up the flame reminded Alida of a watering can with the spout tip on fire, and the man froze on the spot, his face devoid of any blood, and Alida could not make out his terrified face, and all she could see was his silhouette and the blazing light emitted by his cap light. And since the miner was not saying anything, Alida said, if you're looking for gold, come a little closer. There is some hidden beneath these large rocks. Once the man was settled that while Alida was not an object of his imagination, he had the natural reaction that Alida was not expecting. He ran into the settlement screaming like a madman, "Demon, demon! There's a demon in the woods!" Already familiar with the end result of such a reaction, Alida slid away from the man and returned to the outskirts of the forest. And she found Loki and Ingrid laughing at her, and sighing Alida asked Loki, "Does that happen to you every time?" "Depends what sort of face I wear, but usually appearing to someone at this hour makes them a bit edgy. People tend to be more courageous under the morning sun," commented Loki. "It's not even that late," said Alida. And Loki was about to continue teasing Alida some more when he looked up and frowned, and his left ear wiggled a little up and down, and it was the first time Alida had seen Loki do that in his humanoid form. And concerned, Alida asked, "What's the matter?" "Don't know," said Loki rather pensive, and his eyes were glassy color, which meant he was in deep concentration, barely aware of his surroundings. Said Alida more to herself. And she was remembering something from her mother's book. "Is it about the owl?" "What owl? I didn't hear anything," commented Alida. "Usually when you hear an owl but do not see it, it means somebody you know has died," commented Ingrid. "But who could that person be that we both know?" said Loki. "It is a possibly short list, so perhaps it is a person we met during our journey," said Ingrid. "Both of you are reading too much into signs and omens," said Alida. "Frankly, I never believe in that sort of nonsense." "I am not surprised, for you are an omen, and as such are not affected by others of your kinds," explained Loki. Ingrid and Loki started walking back to the camp, and Alida followed behind them, and a feeling of doom and gloom hung over their shoulders, and both lost in deep concentration, and suddenly a chill fell down Ingrid's spine, and she yelled, "Come to me, guardians of the fjord!" And the nearby grasses rustled and saw, taking the shape of knights clad in elegant silver chainmail and green monster-looking tunics, and their hairs were long with two different colors, and the one which addressed Ingrid had extremely long drooping ears like a phoenix falcon. And breaching protocol, he addressed the Thor princess. "You heard the owl too?" "By the gods, owls live in the forest and hoot all the time," said Alida, exasperated. "You are making a big deal over something that is normal. People also drop dead all the time, and the fact that it coincides with the occasional hooting of an owl is just an unhappy coincidence." "Can you head back and see if everyone is accounted for?" insisted Ingrid. "Certainly," said the knight. Not turning around, Loki said, "Hey, Diadem, if you are not doing anything, can you do a bit of a head count of this list I am going to give you? They are not one of us, so it might take you a bit." Neither Alida nor Ingrid were able to see the so-called Diadem, and the following 3 days were spent a bit tense, and neither Ingrid nor Loki were saying anything, just waiting for the time to roll on by, and eventually the Troll Knight came and informed Ingrid that everyone was accounted for. As for Diadem, it took him an entire week to track down everyone in Loki's 4-name list, and the last fellow on the list to make an appearance was Hirsch. Smiling, Alida said, "See there, no one you knew died, so the next time you hear an owl, can you please not make an entire funeral procession about it?" "I won't make any promises," said Loki. "Mother never did state they hooted for somebody you care about or saw on a regular basis," said Ingrid. "I wonder," said Loki, frowning. Time up.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Closing on, Loki's party was able to reach the outskirts of the Rosetta field, and the region had the name due to the mountain flowers that populated the plains. And the most common were blackened flowers, cornflowers, cosmos, crimson clovers, hollyhocks, and catchfly. And the giants in the region lived mostly in caves or in the fields like the draconic counterparts. And like normals, they move across the fields grazing their livestock. And their livestock only grazed on red flowers, and as such they had acquired an oddish reddish hue. And Loki's opacity had done something to do with the soil, and that sunny morning the giants were grazing their domestic bighorn cattle, which Loki called Watusi, and their llamas and alpacas, and as well as their overgrown mud horse. And as they grew closer, Loki was able to see the large tent with the flocks of over 3,000 grazing animals close by. And due to the scarcity, the giants rarely traveled together in large boats, and they only got together during specific time to participate in banter, trade, news, or arranged marriages. Alright, we're done. Bye-bye, God bless.